see you. I like your mask and your pants, like kind of coordinated.
Hi, this is Will James for Uprising Eye. We are at the Rhode Island State House. People have gathered to create paper cranes. It's to stand in solidarity with Asian people. It's also a vigil for the people who were murdered in Georgia a few weeks ago.
Hi. Well, those are mine. So no, these are from other ones.
This ground is pretty solid. Huh? This ground is pretty solid.
Man, I found the one hole. I do. Make it sense. What do you need?
It's a pretty large amount of people here. I'd say about probably 50 or more. I think Senator Sheldon Whitehouse is here. No, sorry, Jack Reed. Actually, it might be the route. Sorry, no, there's always 4, so. I'm not sure if there's going to be speakers today. It is billed as Solidarity Vigil. I'm not sure if the word rally was used.
Sure. Hey, Will, how you doing?
Do you know who the organizer was?
Yes, I can introduce you to. Well, she's right there in the pink coat. Her name is
Okay,
Christine.
cool.
All right.
I'll touch
And
it.
she's got an organizer with her who's got some green hair.
Okay.
Well, that's just it.
She probably
Alright, that was fun. Did you make some of these?
I did not. My friend Rockinya did though.
Would you like to talk about why she made some? She doesn't have to show your face. Oh, is that you? Alright, I'm Will James from Uprise.
What is your name?
My name is Will James. I'm from Uprise. I'm live streaming. Would you like to talk about why you made something? You can decide whether you want to be on camera or off. I can just like point it wherever.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I don't mind talking. I just I need to like collect my thoughts.
Oh, sure, yes.
So you want to give me like 2 minutes?
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely. I can do that.
I know. I think it was the teenagers. I'm gonna blame they were responsible. I know.
So we are going to speak to some people about why they made paper. Sorry, my mask is like way too tight. We're going to speak to some people about why they made paper cranes. We'll also talk to the organizers when they are not as busy. Hi, my name is Will James from Uprise.
Oh, it's lovely to meet you.
Nice. I'm trying to listen on that. Is it going to be like speaker?
There will be at sundown. It's going to be Councilwoman Linda. Who's
Secretary of State, General Treasurer, Seth Magaziner, and myself, a couple others. By like 7:40.
Yeah, I looked on.
It's cold.
Yeah, it is very cold. Yeah. Yeah. If you have a moment, could you just talk about like the actual activity itself?
Yes.
Do you have a chance? Okay.
So,
do you want to talk in front of it?
well, absolutely.
Okay. So you could just introduce yourself and then just go ahead.
My name is Peterson. I am the organizer of the 1,000 Paper Cranes project, which you can see behind me. It was originally started based on the Japanese lore that if you fold 1,000 paper cranes, you get a wish. And as we cannot wish racism away, we wanted to set a goal instead. And each crane folded was donated by a member of the Asian American and Pacific Islander community and one of its allies. And it is a message of solidarity, of hope, and of community. And it will be housed semi-permanently at AS220 Gallery for, we haven't worked out how long yet, but eventually I would like to find a permanent home for it. But right now, people can go see it at AS220 in about a month. And right now, we're still setting up. We had 1,200 to start, and now we have more, so I don't even know how many we have right now.
You might get 2 wishes.
Huh?
You might get 2 wishes.
You know what? I'd love that. If we could get 2 wishes, I would absolutely use them to try and end the hate that's happening right now.
Right.
Do you have any other questions?
I'm sure that we'll learn more about what's happening when you speak and other people
Absolutely.
speak. So I think this is very helpful. Thank you.
Sure. I'm doing a poem, and I know there are a couple speeches and one other poem as well. Great.
Awesome. I guess one thing would be is I did see that where are people represented? I saw one person on Facebook was from probably 40 minutes away in Massachusetts. How
we
far
have
are people
cranes
represented?
as far as New Mexico.
Really? Wow. So it's
I had
national
them
thing.
shipped to us. We have cranes being sent. They did not make it in time for this, but they will be for AS220. They are coming from New York. People are taking the time to mail them, and I really appreciate that because, that's an effort to go to the post office and mail things. So I'm really happy that people could do that and support us this way. Even to come out today is really lovely, and to show that love.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And what was your name again?
Will James. Right.
Lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Jack Reed is speaking over here.
Sentiment that you've seen across the nation about the violence that's been happening towards Asians in the Asian community and what the community has been responding with events like this. What your opinion on that over the course of the 10 days of this?
Well, I think the good news is that there are very decent response from people.
It's hard for
Jack Reed's the representative, right?
He's a senator.
Okay.
Sorry, don't worry.
No, I said it right the first time.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's a senator.
Yeah.
He's the senior senator.
Right. It's just it's so hard for me to tell because there's only 4. Usually you'd be like, oh, there's 3 more on that
Yeah,
side.
it's Reed, White House.
Right.
Yeah, no, we have 2 in Canada.
I know. There's some people here from Moms Demand Action who signed to stop Asian hate, and then underneath end gun violence.
Do you think any of this legislation is going to move forward? I think so too.
What's going to be like, can I come to your office?
There's a sign over here that says hate is the virus. There's also Representative David Morales in the Rhode Island House of Representatives. if you're just joining us and you're on desktop, you can actually scroll back and listen to our interview with one of the organizers, Christine. She mentioned that a lot of this is from people who are out of Rhode Island, so it's a very national representation of support for this idea.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't see it.
Hi, can I point the camera at your art?
Oh, hi.
Thank you.
Come on down, it's not cold at all.
Thanks.
I was processing the video, then I had to help my wife with something, so I don't have enough to Yeah, oh yeah.
This person has a sign that says "Hate has no home here," and then I believe says it in about 5 other languages.
I was supposed to feel like
I know some people that
Huh? I'm sorry, a business card?
we need to be
I don't have a card, but you can follow us on social media at Rhode
Because I have a movie coming out. Are you Asian publication?
Not specifically.
Yeah, because I wanted to get my movie promoted and get an interview. Because I have a cable show.
Right.
I did do some press promotion. Are you the head of the press promotion?
I don't think so. I mean, we're kind of a collective, so I mean, I'm sure we can talk about that, but yeah.
I'm surprised not
Yeah, like I got the sign off on Wednesday that I'm doing the so now I just have like a star on my skin, so I got like so yeah, it's just like phenomenal. So yeah, next year, I'm just looking back on the street. But no, I'm yeah, we kind of look back and
So there is going to be speakers today, and we're also going to talk to a few more people about why they chose to create these and what it means to them.
just having Kevin there, like I got to sign off on Wednesday then.
So one of the organizers did just mention that they have about 1,200 paper cranes, and the goal here was for at least 1,000, so they've exceeded their goal. They explain that 1,000 comes from folklore that says that if you get 1,000 paper cranes, or collect 1,000 paper cranes, you can make a wish. So the idea is to come together in solidarity with the Asian community and to kind of, in response to the murder of 6 Asian women in Georgia. Someone is putting up the names of those women right now. So over here you have Delana Ashley Wan, so it's also recommending the other people who were killed that day, even those who weren't necessarily Asian. And over here we have Chung Park, sorry. And Hun Jung Grant. And I believe Zhao Jue Tan. And Dao Yu Feng, I believe. I did watch a video to help guide pronunciation, but that was a while ago. Senator Jack Reed is over here leaving on the right. Yong Yue. Again, more names of people. Enrique Sanchez is speaking to Jack Reed. And then we have Sun Cha Kim, who is one of the last people who was, again, all these names over here on the trees are the names of people who died in Georgia as a result of a mass shooter. Hi, do you mind if I point the camera at your sign?
It's fine.
Okay, thanks.
Start asking now.
Thanks.
Oh yeah. Hi, nice to meet you. And this is my daughter Elizabeth. And the oldest, now, so what happened was,
I don't know, just treating people so sick. Not a welcoming space. So like, I want to testify. It's just like diabetes. That's when our feelings get hurt. You don't want to hurt our feelings.
We've just seen her outside. Hi. I can do it. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. If you can, it's alright.
sorry, I'm not, actually the woman in the pink. Yeah, the one in the pink organized that.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Do you mind if I follow you if you're hanging out?
Yeah, of course. I'll help you guys figure it out.
How would you make 3? I didn't say keep you
Do you really want to be that person you think that, like, I just magically hold skill to make you mine? You guys are just like living up. You know, you've chosen not to do anything like that. Therefore, yeah.
I'll make my own.
So, that's how they kind of
If there's any consolation prize.
To me, it's you know what it is?
Oh no, yeah, it's fun and symbolic, but I feel like I mean, this always happens with primaries. Yeah. Oh yeah, they got to give it to me.
I mean, that's okay. You can just hang there.
No, I thought Pamela too.
The table where people are finishing up the paper crayons, either making more or once they leave.
Need a hook?
She got it. Yeah, I got one.
Do you need a hook?
I have.
You dropped the hook.
Oh no! Oh, here it is. I got it.
All right. I'm trying to balance out the weight, so on this side you probably need the best.
Okay. Mom. I just need to retry this.
I slipped up.
The Nutella?
I feel under pressure. Kind of not. Like squeeze. Yeah. Good job, me. Oh my god. Okay. Oh no! Oh my god. Alright, fine.
I'll get a little closer so you can see the different patterns on the paper. I know the quality of the live stream isn't as good as the view I have on my screen right now. So it's some just plaid patterns, some very intricate French designs, Hawaiian flowers. I believe that each string is made by a different person. So as you can see, like some have a similar pattern going down on one string. And obviously people hanging up their strings. Thank you. Oh, I believe this one may be made out of photos, which is interesting.
So it's harder.
We got an offer from Pearson.
This one looks like it's made out of just like regular sticky notes, which is fun. And then there's some newspaper ones. Oops, sorry, still out of focus. Some newspaper ones over here, and then some sticky note type things. Plain paper, of course, sometimes. Oh, people may be speaking soon, so I'm gonna head over there.
Excuse me, everyone. We're actually going to try and speak from this side of the crane, so if you could all go towards the grass, that would be great. Thank you so much. Also, I'm going to be going around, and someone else, one of my friends, is going to be going around with glow sticks for the vigil, because the candles stain the marble. So we're going to be using glow sticks instead. All right, thank you. I had no idea.
No, nothing's really happening yet.
I had no idea what to expect because I said 300 and
Again, if you're just joining us and you're on desktop, like a desktop computer, you can scroll backwards and see the interview with Christine, one of the organizers. Happened towards the beginning. And then a speaking portion is going to start soon.
Oh yeah, we got it. And of course we actually set up a position trees and more
It was you. You're right. Like, listen, I have a lot of diversity
Hi, you looking to hang some? Excellent. 60. Awesome.
She's like, my name of who set that scene.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
He's the girl with the green hair. Okay. I don't know who's taking names, but I am helping hang these up. So. Oh, that's excellent. Okay, I can hold on to this. Thank you. I didn't know there were two sides. You do that. All right. What is the other side? All right, I'll put that there. Thank you.
I think but where the work someone
There you go.
You're at 100?
I have to just over 100.
Yeah, I was way underestimating. I think I said 50 earlier.
Oh, no. So just over 100 for sure. Maybe a little bit more since.
Yeah, so I just want to correct myself. I think we're at over 100 people here right now. Steve Alquist, the reporter, counted over 100.
That's a thoroughbred. You keep that. All right, close. You're not gonna see any more.
Can I get your name on
Anybody that donated cranes, I would like to get your name so we can put it on the contribution sheet. So if anybody would like to just go to the table so we can write down your names, that would be great. Thank you so much.
No, you call me, we'll make you fried chicken. We're not.
It's getting a bit dark. I'm sorry if the camera is not adjusting properly. The screen just looks very dark.
I mean, I'm not like working on a Saturday night,
Whatever it is.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people that take care.
flowers put down here in front of the names of one person. For two people, actually. I believe these people. This sign actually says "Not your virus" and "Not your fantasy," referencing the media portrayal of Asian women, which is often over-sexualized.
Brenda was like, I want to see her try.
I'm gonna try to get like an upward angle too.
Yes, we're just at Ulysses Province, please.
Sorry. Not sure how good that looked. Seems like it was very backlit.
No, she was crazy, but she's not the kind that would like have a heart to be crazy.
Sorry.
But I feel like approach
Right.
but it's like
Did you have a boil?
that's what I mean, it's psychologically.
The speakers are going to begin shortly. Waiting on people to finish up hanging their paper cranes.
They don't.
Some of these are very tiny.
Even here, very new, really know it's like.
Can't really get the camera to change focus.
No, they don't get it at all. They think it's like, yeah, I know exactly what it's like. It's very hard. It is. Well, it's one of those things like when I try to tell people to be more responsive, like they don't understand. They're like, wait a minute, I'm the one who's right. I'm not supposed to be. I'm like, no, because I can go.
I'm not.
What, you Japanese or
Chinese.
Chinese?
Also Chinese.
Chinese.
Yeah.
I'm live streaming for Uprise.
It's you.
You know, having reported on all of last summer's protests, there was always a representation of Asian people, but as this is an event focused on Asian people, it does seem like there's a very, very strong representation here today. Saying maybe half the crowd is Asian might be too much, but it's somewhat close to that. Yeah, I'd like one. Thanks.
You want a bunch?
Take a couple minutes.
I think I can only fit one in my pocket, but they're here. The Rhode Island Department of Health is also here giving masks out to people. They're not at every protest, but some of the more formal ones they're usually present at. Like ones that are at the State House, they'll usually be here with a booth giving away masks.
That's the one thing.
Rhode Island has a large Southeast Asian community here. It's definitely represented at this rally right now.
Yeah, my daughter was also
So this is the third protest to happen in Rhode Island that Uprise knows about. Earlier today there was a Stop Anti-Asian Hate march in South Kingstown, perhaps North Kingstown, you can confirm and see. And then earlier this week there was a Stop Anti-Asian Hate rally in Burnside Park. That was organized by the Answer Coalition in PSL Rhode Island. The event today, I just believe, came from community members, and then this was, of course, organized by Christine and her partner and other partners from the Asian community. Sorry that I keep saying the speakers are going to start soon. I guess they were going to, but I guess people are just still being given the opportunity to continue hanging their paper crayons. So they'll start eventually. If you need to do something else and come back, go ahead. I don't know when they're going to start.
This pandemic has strained me.
She's walking over.
I know. It's not a good
Christina's picking up the microphone.
Testing. Hi, does everyone have a glow stick? If you don't, we have bags here and there. If everyone's got a glow stick for the vigil, we're going to start speaking in about 3 minutes. Thank you.
She just said that the speakers are going to begin in 3 minutes. Sorry that I couldn't give you a more accurate time before them.
Maybe, but those districts are there also. And so that's the angle on this is save money. Yeah.
You need more of a seat table.
Can everyone hear me in the back? Is that good too? Is it too loud? Okay, good. Thank you everyone so much for coming. My name is Peterson. I am the organizer along with Franny, who's over there with the blue hair, give him a wave. And thank you all so much for coming and contributing. We really appreciate it. I'm so excited and exhilarated to see everyone here, and very moved. So if everyone's got a glow stick, that's fantastic. You guys can crack them now, but they're going to be going on to sunset. And I will now introduce you to our opening speaker, who is Councilwoman Linda Ujifusa, and she will be opening up today. Okay. Hey, good evening. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I'm honored to be speaking. My name is Linda Ujifusa. I'm Vice President of the Portsmouth Town Council. I'm also on the Executive Committee of the RI Democratic Women's Caucus and co-chair of the Rhode Island Healthcare Access and Affordability Partnership advocating single-payer Medicare for all. But tonight I'm speaking
Racism against Asians is not new. In 1942, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066, incarcerating about 120,000 people of Japanese ancestry, including my mother's family. They were forced into the Tule Lake internment camp and lost their family farm, despite my grandparents being legal immigrants and my mom and her siblings being native-born Americans. My father, who enlisted in the U.S. Army a day after Pearl Harbor, had his West Point admission rescinded because he was Japanese American. Now, there's no evidence of sabotage or spying, but to quote the American general in charge of the coast, a Jap is a Jap. They are a dangerous element, whether loyal or not. So it was decades before my Nisei parents could talk to their post-war children about the camps. My family, like most other Japanese Americans, simply covered their sense of loss and betrayal with the Japanese phrase, "shikata ga nai." It cannot be helped. To use the vernacular, just suck it up. So, what has changed today? Sadly, there's still racism and discrimination, but I am at a public vigil commemorating the Georgia victims with a group of people of all nationalities and backgrounds who do not believe shikata ga nai. You believe you can and must work against racism, even when led by a former president of the United States. Now, I know you're all super busy with work and family or battling other issues. I get that. But please do not think that you do not have the knowledge or skills to get more involved, run for office. As Vice President of the Portsmouth Town Council, are you aware that since Mayor Alan Fung left office, I think I am the highest ranking Asian American elected official in Rhode Island? Now, clearly, we can and must do better, right? So thank you again for being here, and thank you for helping make racism something about which we no longer say shikata ga nai. Thank you. Thank you so much, Councilwoman. Now I would like to introduce Linda Park, who will be reciting a poem that she wrote.
Water running through my fingers. Water running through my fingers. Staring at a mirror. A moment of realization. Shit, my face looks so Asian. Covering my face with a big hat under the beautiful sun, lest it darkens my skin and marks my cheeks with dots. Skin not fair enough. Eyebrows not dark enough. Eyelashes not long enough. Eyes not round enough. Nose not high enough. Teeth not straight enough. Hair not curly enough. Boobs not big enough. Belly not flat enough. Butt not tight enough. Proportions don't look right. All wrong. Off balance. Made a man on the bus question, is your vagina slit sideways? Ni hao, says another stranger. I'm just being friendly. Oh yeah? Do you say that to everyone or just young Asian women? Is it too much to ask? I want to be Asian without you seeing me just as an Asian. Why can't you open your eyes and see beyond my skin? Is it so difficult to treat me like an individual? Jumping rope, heaving through my wet mouth, jogging around the block with my dance teacher, who urges me to run, 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 until the fat drops off of my butt, thighs, belly, chest, face. Aerobic classes, middle-aged housewives, plastic wrap tight around their bodies to squeeze out more sweat, vanilla flavored powder that's supposed to help me lose weight. Mom, why did we go through all those troubles if we still can't get respect from others and ourselves?
Thank you.
That was really beautiful, and I really appreciate it. May I now introduce my friend Franny, who also helped organize this event. She's going to be speaking to you next. Thank you.
I was raised in Chinatown, New York City. All my life I have kept my head down to avoid confrontations, to avoid making a scene. I am hesitant with my words and actions at work and around my friends. I never wanted to appear sensitive, like to not take a joke, but none of this is funny. When attacks on Asians started to rise, I worried. Attacks have been happening everywhere. My home city is no exception. I worried for my family. My father runs a restaurant in Chinatown. He is a refugee who has worked hard to survive in this country. This past year has been a struggle to keep the restaurant going. My father calls me to check up on me, and I call him to check on him. I am tired of putting my head down. I want to bring my head up and tell people about the injustice Asian Americans face every day. True evil took place in Atlanta. The increased attacks on Asian people is sickening. The hostility from people who believe we caused the pandemic is ignorance. We are not the virus, but hate is. This event is a chance for all members of the Asian American and Pacific Islander community to be heard, to educate the public that we are done being silent, and we are Americans too. This project is awareness, a chance to be heard, to know that we are not alone.
Very much, Franny, and I do want to thank you also personally for helping me organize this. Our next speaker is Gina Pham. Please welcome her. Sorry guys, I've never used this before. I also didn't practice a speech with a mask on, so. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Firstly, I want to thank Christine and Franny for setting up this event and for allowing me a safe space to share my story. Every day, when the homeroom bell rings and the loudspeaker crackles, I stand up and recite the Pledge of Allegiance with my students. We all know how it goes, and we all know how it ends. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For all, for my white students, the black and brown ones, the ones that look like me. As we have seen in the events that erupted these past couple of weeks, this past year, these past several years, we are not one. We are surely divisible, and liberty and justice definitely do not serve all. My name is Gina Pham, and I'm a 7th grade English teacher in suburban Massachusetts. I am one of just 3 Asian American teachers and staff members out of 460 total in my school district. Where I teach at the middle school, I'm not just the sole Asian American teacher, I'm also the only teacher of color in the entire building.
My students do not reflect these statistics, as 20% of them are BIPOC, with 4% identifying as Asian American. When I'm with my students, I revel in their laughs and the youthful spark in their eyes. I see the light bulbs go off when they finally understand how to use a subordinating conjunction properly. I hear the naivety in their complaints about a 5-paragraph essay being too much work. They are beautiful and smart and enthusiastic, but I fear for them. I fear when one of my white students shouts out, "What kind of teacher has a BLM poster on their wall? Who will he become?" I fear when one of my black students is the only one to get reprimanded for the same offense her white classmates committed. Who will she become? I fear for one of my Asian students who has barely spoken a word throughout the entire year. My colleagues assure me, "Oh, Joey's just quiet." I worry, who will he become? I don't know, but I know who he is now. Joey is invisible, and Joey is ignored. Joey is like me and the millions of other Asian Americans in this country that have never quite belonged. For too long, we have been pushed into the background. We have been the punchlines and unoriginal jokes, the ones behind the scenes, and instead of the spotlight. We have been dubbed the model minority, the group that does what it's supposed to do, the group that's quiet and respectful. And now we are the ones to be blamed for this pandemic that at its start stopped the world in its tracks. I admit that I've been part of the problem by following the narrative that this country has written for me. In moments of racial injustice in my classroom, specifically towards me, I haven't spoken up. I've kept quiet and ignored those moments like they didn't happen. I haven't corrected my colleagues when they asked for my nationality rather than my ethnicity. I haven't properly stood up for my students of color when they've needed it. And worst of all, I've kept Joey invisible. But now I'm rewriting that narrative. When a student says ching chong to me on the first day of school, I will follow up with him and ensure that he understands the bigger issue of racism rather than the be kind mantra that has been taught over and over to him. When another student tells me to go back to China, I will create a teachable moment and educate my students rather than stay quiet and ignore it as if it didn't happen. When an administrator tells me to stick to the literature, to stop getting myself into trouble, and to keep my head down after having a class discussion on a hate crime that killed 6 of my people, I will tell her that I'm an educator and not a robot. I'm done being seen as a foreigner, although I was born on this soil. I'm done with my colleagues being too afraid to talk about race, even though 20% of our student population are BIPOC. I'm done with white people telling me to keep my head down. My AAPI community, we are not invisible and we are not foreigners. We are Americans. We need to stand up and speak out because we are done. Thank you.
So very much, Gina, for that very moving speech. Please now welcome our General Treasurer, Seth Magaziner. We are very honored to have him here today.
Good evening, everyone. I want to start by thanking Christine and Franny for organizing this important and beautiful event. Thank you to Linda and Gina for sharing your stories. That takes tremendous bravery, and I am in awe of you right now. Thank you to Secretary Gorbea and Representative Corcoran. It's important for elected officials to show up when people are being discriminated against. And thank you to all of you for turning out and for showing that there is hope. Because in this challenging time, We can feel angry, we can feel sad, but it is also okay to feel hopeful that a better future lies ahead. And as the councilwoman said, discrimination and hatred against Asians and Pacific Islanders is nothing new. From the times of indentured servitude and Japanese internment to the consistent and continued stereotypes in the media, to the consistent and despicable scapegoating of Asians over the past year by the former president and others, including some in this building behind us, who have used their platform to divide rather than to heal. It's okay to feel angry. But when I look around at this group today and I see well over 100 Rhode Islanders who have turned out on a cold Saturday night, that shows me that we believe that things can get better. In our office, the Office of the General Treasurer, we run a program called the Crime Victims Compensation Fund, where we help victims of violent crimes with financial compensation to help them with medical bills and lost wages and so forth. Since 2015, we have had 122 Rhode Islanders who self-identified as Asians who have received a claim through this program. That's 122 Rhode Islanders who self-identify as Asian who are the victims of a violent crime. We have to do better. We have to do better. And it is only by having difficult conversations like the ones that we're having tonight that we will make progress. So thank you all for being part of the solution. I do believe better days lie ahead, but only if we have the courage to work together to do better. Thank you very much, everyone.
It's the Treasurer, Seth Magaziner, Treasurer of the State of Rhode Island.
Thank you so much, Treasurer Magaziner, for speaking today. We really appreciate it. And our last speech of the evening before I close with the poem is going to be the Honorable Secretary of State, Nellie Gorbea. Please give her a warm welcome.
It's been a while since I had one of these. I wanted these at one at home. Anyway, good evening, everyone. Actually, people can't see me. So, I want to thank Christine and Franny for bringing us together tonight. Can we give them a round of applause? As my colleague, the State Treasurer, said, Seth Magaziner, you know, this is the moment when those of us in elected office have to stand with you as we decry the kind of hateful speech, acts, violence that are being perpetrated against Asian American and Pacific Islanders. I am grateful to be in the amazing company of great leaders like Representative Corcoran and Vice Chairwoman Linda Ujifuja, who I hope some of you in this crowd will join someday and heed her call to come and channel what you're feeling today into running for office. Every day in this country since this horrible pandemic began, there have been about 10 acts of violence against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in this country. That is horrible. That is horrible and is not the kind of country that I know I want my kids to grow up in. It is not the kind of country that we can be. We can be much better than this, but it will take all of us and all of our family and all of our friends to turn this around. Yes, we've started to turn it around because we channeled our energy into voting, into making the change, but it doesn't stop now. This is just the beginning. And I take solace at the beauty of these amazing cranes and at the peace that they represent. But we need to take the strength of that peace combined with that anger that we all feel, and channel it into action. And so each and every one of you need to make sure that come the next election, that come the next legislative hearing, city or town council meeting, that you'll take that step to make your voice heard. This is our country. This is all of our country. And it belongs to us. But we need to do what we need to do in order to make it a better country. So, as a fellow woman of color, as a Latina, as somebody who grew up as English as a second language, I can tell you, this is our place, and we belong here. And so, please, go beyond tonight. Don't let it just, feel good tonight. Make sure that you talk to your friends, your family, your family members. Some of whom I know are going to say, why are you getting involved? And you're going to say, because it's my country too, and it is my right to do so. So let's get it done. Let's go forward in peace and in strength. And let's live this country the way it should be. Thank you.
You don't even need the glove. You think your gloves work, right?
You can breathe now. Not that you shouldn't wear one, you should definitely wear a mask. I'm going to close tonight with a thank you to the Secretary Gorbea, and I will be closing with a poem that I have written called See Me. I am not an object for your sexual desire, ire. I am not a fetish, bondage and almond eyes. Bandage those almond eyes. Don't let them see and don't look out, lest we draw their ire. Fire. We were never safe. You think you flatter us with acid-covered niceties. They sting but don't kill, create wounds never filled, and now you've come back for more. We were never not seen, only ignored. For ones you say you hated more, why are we responsible for your fear? Bodies for your ignorance, laughs and jeers, gooks and queers, and whores, and all the others I will not say. Why are we responsible for your hate? You give it to us as a birthright, a token we must hold, in front of ourselves for all to see, a chip to cash in at any time, at any place. Atlanta. Is my number up today? Sun Chung Park, Hyun Jung Grant, Sun Cha Kim, Young A Yu, Xiao Jia Tan, Dao Yo Feng. Can you say them? Will you pronounce them? Say their names. Don't say them wrong. Don't throw a coat of primer on us and call it done. I am not a stereotype. Flat. A projection of your ignorance. Your burden is not ours. Do not give it to us. We have carried it for too long, and we will carry it no longer. Stronger. We are strong. And beneath your trappings and your privilege, you are a gruesome, hateful thing. Writhing, biting, crying. We will make sure nobody hears you. I forgot I was the last one. We're now going to have a moment of silence. I was hoping the sun was going to be a little lower, but this is what's going to do with the glow sticks. Thank you. much for coming. We're going to pretty much wrap it up now because it's really cold out. But I just want to thank you all so much. I'm very moved by all of the cranes, all of our lovely speakers. Again, I would like to thank our Secretary of State, Nellie Gorbea, our General Treasurer, Seth Magazina, Councilwoman Linda Ujifusa, and our other speakers, Franny No, Linda Park, and Gina Pham. I would like to thank all of you for coming, dealing with all of this cold, and it means a lot because this is a very important time, and it says something that you're all here. So thank you so much. Again, if we can get a round of applause for our last And if anybody's interested, the cranes are going to be shown at the AS220 Gallery sometime next month, probably. There are going to be more cranes for people who are shipping them who couldn't make it today, but their spirit is with us, and you can see them there, where they will be stored temporarily. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful night.
The organizer just stated that these paper cranes are going to be on display at AS220 sometime next month. So if you're not able to come today, or would just like to see them again, you can view them at AS220 sometime soon. So this has been Will James for Uprise RI. We really appreciate our Patreon supporters. It allows us to buy equipment and pay ourselves sometimes, which is important when we need to do things. So we really thank you. I think this is going to be it. This was a 1,000 paper cranes event. People creating paper cranes to stand in solidarity with Asian people, and there was also a vigil for the people who were recently murdered in a mass shooting in Georgia. Thank you so much for joining us.